Alright, so today we're going to refinish a shell that I built quite a while back. Now, this thing was kind of scratched up. There was a lot of good shows and fun times with this. Of course, I started out by sanding it, and you're going to want to spend a lot of time sanding those lines. Believe it or not, if you're doing a car or something, it takes a lot of sanding to get those lines out. Now, what I did here, once I had the whole thing prepped and ready to go, I sprayed a white base coat because I was going to apply a decal for the four-way bar and grill. I'm doing this because I'm selling the shell and the bar wanted their logo on it. And as we keep going, we kind of get it ready. There's a red base coat that I went to the paint store. I just picked out from their generic chips and found a nice red that I liked. And man, let me tell you, some of these reds don't cover well at all. I'm always a big fan of the high quality paint. So for me, it never pays to buy the $100 or $150 gallon of clear coat. It's always going to be better to use the $400 or $500 stuff. It just lasts better. You'll never tell an appearance difference. It's just maybe a year and a half, 2 years in the sun, that cheap clear coat's done. It peels off. So right here you can see I'm removing the decal, and the white paint underneath is what's showing through, and we're getting ready to do a full overall spray of clear coat. So here's a few pictures just to kind of show the way that it came out. I was pretty happy with this one. It does take some attention to detail. You got to be careful as you peel those stickers off. Sometimes you'll smudge that red base color or whatever you did on top of the lower color. Now right here we're getting ready to do the clear coat and getting it all kind of cleaned up. Sometimes you take some 2000 grit sandpaper and just rub it over the top to knock some of the dust out of the color. This is a good way to practice. A piano shell is great because you get a nice big flat area on top, and then you've got these curves on the side, so it gives you a nice little bit of practice in a few different angles and things. You're always going to lay the clear quite a bit heavier on top because the gravity's not working with you like it does on the sides. And here we're kind of going around it a little bit. You can see there's a little dust in it here and there, but they weren't too worried about it. They just wanted a quick paint job and wanted this thing red with the logo. So totally took care of that for them. Now, a lot of times, especially if you're doing a car, if the surface is in great condition, you could use sandpaper as high as 600, maybe even 800 or 1000 grit. But what I do when I'm having to sand lines and things like that, maybe some scratches out, I'll use 220 on the air sander because it sands a little bit finer when it's a sander. If I'm doing it by hand, it might be 320 or 400, but that's going to give me some good scratches for that new paint to bite into. But if you want, you can go ahead and wet sand up to, 6 or even 1000. It's fine. Here you can see I painted the bottom black and I numbered where the legs go so you can assemble a little easier. There's also some bolt storage. I just drilled some holes in one of the braces so the bolts can set in there during transport and things like that. Pretty simple. The legs just get installed while it's vertical and then they stand it up. You can also just put on legs 2 and 3, and then you can put that bottom leg on after it's kind of setting at an angle, but you get the point. No big deal. I hope you guys learned a little something from this. Just a little bit of a paint and body type thing, and you can see those lines still show through because I didn't sand them out completely, but it's all good. Overall came out pretty nice. I think they'll be happy with it. Thank you guys again.